The Engoodening of No Man's Sky by Internet Historian, main channel content. Let's do this. Quite lengthy, but why not? No, No Man's Sky, isn't that the dumpster fire that promised a billion things but couldn't deliver anything?
That game everyone loves.
Scientists are racing to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Questions we once thought impossible to answer are within our grasp. Where does the sun go at night?
Is math related to science?
It is. Math is the related to science.
Big, then why won't it fight me?
As we look further into the universe, we see light from distant stars, eons old, perhaps hundreds,
But can we go there?
even thousands of miles away. Hold on, can I get a zoom in on that?
You bet I can. This is one of the world's most powerful telescopes. Initiating 6 times zoom.
Can this baby do 7?
I can do you one better.
I don't know who that is,
Eight
guys.
times
Sorry if I
zoom.
missed the reference.
Pressure rising, holding steady. I can see it. Unblur.
It won't hold.
Get me 8.5 times.
You're a madman.
Upscale it to 4K.
The helium
He's
tank
Nintendo.
will go critical.
Opening the blind.
Mr.
Holding
Nintendo.
steady, uncropping and increasing aspect ratio. Now, punch it. There it is. Life on another world. And to think.
Oh, the heads are in the floor. Alright. I was like, what kind of head is that? Right.
Games.
Hello.
Let's start.
I thought that was their head, just flopping up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's rewind time. No Man's Sky. Check it out. Check it out.
Check it out. Joe Rogan. That looks super real.
Oh, this is special.
Why does everything look like it has an Instagram filter on it?
This is special.
You know what I mean? The game actually looks really cool though, dude. Too bad it came out like garbage. Although I heard it's a lot better now.
It's 2014, and it's E3 hype time. No Man's Sky has promised to be a game like no other. A
Mexico
practically
lighting in
boundless
movies.
experience vibrant with life and
Ah,
color
sure.
and things to explore. What's over there? You'll have to be the one to discover it. And then, wow, look at that big f***ing dinosaur, holy shit. And a moment later, we're in space, having a battle amongst a giant fleet. Claim a planet as your own. Explore the galaxy with your friends.
Okay, that's
Those
This
are
is gonna
what
be
you
the
would
best
call
game ever, you
like
guys. It even won awards for its
goals,
hype.
but
And it will
probably
release
stretch
in June
goals, right?
2016.
not like actual promised
The hype
features
train was
yet.
officially
It's
loading
way
up
too crazy.
and ready to chug out of the station. Because who
You could
is
do it
better
like
to talk about
Minecraft.
the
Like
game
I know
than
it's a
the lead guy
meme, but
himself?
the way Minecraft does it is
He
really
went
good.
from
They only
interview to
render
interview, and with each question,
the vicinity
answers
that you're
he
in
gave
and store the
raised
rest
people's
as like.
expectations of the game's scope.
Can you land on a comet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the moment you can land on asteroids.
Yeah, that's true. They're randomized from fixed assets.
Other players.
Because if
They're literally building
you're going
their
for a
own, like,
fully
massively
procedurally
multi-player
generated, that
world
is
and
absolutely
procedurally
insane. It will
generated.
require way
Sand
too much
planets like in
computational
June,
power
the rivers,
to actually
walking sentinels, hacking. So
procedurally
sophisticated
generate
that
like
light
every
diffracts
landmass
through
and
the
everything in a
atoms.
planet.
They had to
And have the
redevelop
planet have an
whole
ecosystem like he
periodic
claims.
table to make it work.
What?
Even Elon Musk was hyped for it.
Oh, true. They did promise fully procedural. Yeah, that was actually a
2 years go
misstep.
by.
Definitely.
It's early 2016, and that hype train is really moving now. Perhaps one of the biggest.
From what I
in
understand, when
history.
Minecraft does it, is
Reddit
they
was
only
stuffing
generate
most of the game
what's
fuel.
in your vicinity,
Skeptics and naysayers
but
are
there
treating
is sort of like
doubts
a
have thrown from
base
the carriage
mapping that's done through the seeds
Pre-orders
that
open,
is just
and they
stored
are
as
doing
values
very
until
well.
you actually
The
in the
date
game
is booked in.
approach that
Some are
area.
even
That's when they
taking a day
actually
off work.
then generate it for
So
you to then
much hype
see.
there is
That
that
way it's save storage, but that's also why the
Jason
game files
Schreier
get
of
bigger and bigger
soon-to-be-defunct
as
Kotaku
the
is about
longer
to
you play.
spoil the party. He announces a delay.
What?
right. It's a leak.
On
Someone broke the
your...
embargo and is selling early access to the highest bidder. And the bids start rolling in.
Oh, I didn't do that, dude. If you're an
It
embargo, don't
reaches
ruin it for everyone.
$1,300 US. Sold to some guy with the Reddit handle Damien. He gets his hands on it and starts uploading footage to YouTube and
How much did he buy it for?
Sid
How much did he buy it for?
Is there a box copy?
$1,300. Are you
That's
insane?
right. It's a leak. Someone broke the embargo and is selling.
How do I
early
get that much
access
money
the
to just
highest
throw
bidder.
around? What the hell?
And the bids start rolling in. It reaches $1,300 US. Sold to some guy with the Reddit handle Damien. He gets his hands on it and starts uploading
Damn,
footage
dude.
to YouTube and Dailymotion. What the frick? Said Sean and Sony. Damien finished it a lot quicker than expected, but he gave it a decent review.
There are things I don't like, there are things I like, but at the end of the day, when I say to myself, what is this game supposed to be? This, what I'm looking at right here, this is what the game is supposed to be.
He noted a few problems, but said he was optimistic that they would be ironed out with the day one patch. But it was too late. The footage had people
Games have
talking
day one
more
patches
skeptically
because they have a
about the game.
deadline to meet, and oftentimes they
Especially because
scope
there were
creep.
no early
So
review copies.
they release a half-ass product
And it
and
was
patch it
looking like
after
the
the
weight
day.
of all these expectations had become too much, and the whole thing was about to give.
I remember there being a case of a game, I forget which company, is probably Capcom, where they released a game that was like tiny, but the day one patch is like the equivalent of like Antonio's Underground 2 did not have a day one. Because that game is perfect. Yeah, whatever game it was, the day one patch was like 3 times bigger than the base game. Because the base game had absolutely no content whatsoever. I forget what game it is. But I have a feeling it's from Capcom ages ago. And the reason why old games don't have day one patches is because the nature of the old games being on like consoles that don't have internet connections. But that's also why you have so many like glitches and exploits in old games, whereas new games they're constantly being patched out. One of the Street Fighters. Yeah, I was getting the feeling that it was one of the Street Fighters. Or it could be one of that game where they had all the fighters on the disc, but you had to buy the data that you already have or something. I can't remember.
It's August.
It's ages ago.
Everyone's here. We've all bought the game and we're fucking hyped. Here we go, lads.
Oh god.
Oh dear lord, it isn't finished. Hello, Sean. It is me.
Yeah, because he can't
What
keep
is
pushing
your
back the
game?
deadlines. He just has to release an
I
unfinished
used to
product
work
and
at
then
an
patch it in.
astronomy lab. Don't worry about that. Those sand planets from June look nice.
No.
Think I might. Please, Sean. There must be rivers.
No.
No.
Animals interact
No,
with
no,
each other
no.
in the environment?
No. No.
Packs of walking sentinels, Sean.
No.
I'm literally crying right now. Should I even ask whether I can play as a space pirate?
No.
No.
Factions with different attributes.
You picked the wrong house, fool! Oh!
Fly between stars
Oh.
manually.
But nobody's actually done it yet.
If I can maneuver like in the trailer,
Big
I'll
scopes,
still be
yeah.
happy.
No.
Well, day-night cycle.
But here's the thing,
driven by
right?
The orbit of the
I
sun.
get the feeling that those scopes are definitely achievable if he has like a vision in mind, and I think he does. However, I feel like they're working with a deadline that was too soon. Because I heard the game is actually alright now. I heard the game is actually quite fun now, so I feel like maybe they underestimated how long it would take to actually implement all those scopes. Because, yeah, animal interaction, investment, kind of things. Yeah, that's true. But you can also argue that hunting dragons and building a dirt house is different things. And I'm using Minecraft again as an example. I feel like the problem with No Man's Sky is just that they underestimated their the time span it would take to develop a project this big. Yeah, much like you would need a system to place blocks down properly and a proper battle system to fight the dragon in Minecraft. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm trying to defend them. I'm just trying to think of it from like a project management sort of angle, and maybe they, whoever was managing this project, they severely underestimated how difficult a project of this undertaking would take.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Land on an asteroid, radio chat, and name your ship, hacking, portals, all that stuff about the elements, Sean.
No.
This is not good, Sean. This is very not good.
They need a bigger team
And
for
ironically,
starters, yeah.
The only bugs this game doesn't have are the butterflies in the demo.
That's why I give my kids
No Man's Sky.
Again. But that's kind of like what CD Projekt Red is doing, like the continuous delays of Cyberpunk.
My ship's in bits.
People are frustrated, but it's to create a better product at the end. And I feel like it's better to do that, like disappoint people now, but at least when the ratings come in, it's actually gonna be a good game, rather than doing what 76 did, release a crappy product and get overall slams by critics and fans alike, and then end up selling your company.
Game on the
You know?
PlayStation Store that month. And the large proportion of people who bought it in the hopes of playing with their friends, well, you're in for a surprise. This one is a literal game.
Is it even possible to meet up with your friends in No Man's Sky?
Yeah, it would make for a
Answer
better
is
game by then.
absolutely yes, it's possible.
On multiple occasions, Sean said it was definitely
I love that
in
meme.
the game.
Will you be able to play with your friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you run into other people, other players
Yes.
in the game?
Yes.
But then just before the release, Sean posted this cryptic tweet.
To be super clear, No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game. Please don't go in looking for
He's
that
damage
experience.
controlling because he couldn't develop the multiplayer
So
component
there's
in
no
time.
multiplayer
Am I right?
function. But then the next line contradicts that.
Because the chances of two players ever crossing paths in a universe this big is pretty much zero.
Oh, so it is multiplayer. You just have to overcome this finding each other hurdle.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
You know how autistic the internet is. Come on, man.
No, it's more confusing than that. Because the box doesn't mention online playing, just network features. And the collector's edition had its online play icon stickered over. So customers are going, which one is it, Sean? Just tell us if it has multiplayer or it doesn't have multiplayer. Sean wouldn't give any answers. But
It's
after
because
hundreds of thousands of
it's
purchases,
because by my
people soon
predictions,
took it upon themselves
it will be a
to
multiplayer
find out.
game, but they don't have that
Despite the
component
claims
ready
that
yet.
It would be so improbable.
Hence the cryptic answers.
On the very first day, two people noticed they were only 4 star systems from one another, and they met up on the same planet in a live stream. Oh dear.
A black pillar.
Our streams are exactly lined up. If you go look at my stream, we're looking at the exact same area right now if you don't move.
Yep, that's the same spot. And they can't see each other.
I'm alone!
That settles it. It's not multiplayer because it's so big. It's not multiplayer because it's just not fucking multiplayer. And this led to
But it might be, is the thing that Sean's trying to
what did
flip-flop
Sean have
around.
to say about all this?
So amazing, two people found each other on the first day.
That has blown my mind.
So why can't we see other players in game?
Wow, so many of you playing.
Yeah, Sean, but why?
Truly amazing. My mind is blown.
Yikes.
So what's the game actually like?
Yeah, I genuinely think that the multiplayer component was not ready yet, but it will be ready is the goal of the game. Which is why he keeps flip-flopping and why they stick it over the multiplayer thing. Because it would have been multiplayer if the deadline was pushed back a bit more, is my assumption. Multiplayer's just not ready yet.
That is a difficult thing to say.
Well, it certainly is stylish and pretty, and there are a lot of places to explore.
It
But
does
that
look
doesn't
really
mean
cool,
there's
yeah.
much to find. In fact, the game boils down to a very simple loop. Hold down the trigger to pick up resources, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. Hold down the trigger, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. Hold down the trigger, deal with a full inventory, leave...
I'm gonna ask just to ask. If that's the gameplay loop, why planets? Why can't it be just maps or dungeons? Because surely you're not going to explore the entire planet. You know how big a planet is? Like, how small are these planets we're talking about? Are they like dungeon sized? This whole thing, I don't think even needs planets if this is the type of game loop.
The planet, go to another planet, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. That's it. $60, ladies and gentlemen.
Refuel your multi-tool, refuel your life support, refuel a separate part of your multi-tool that shoots bullets instead of the mining beam, refuel your launch thrusters. It's busy work that makes it look like you have something to do. It's not real.
How dare you?
What followed was one of the most dramatic crashes
I'm describing
in
Subnautica, really?
gaming history. Sales in the UK.
I've never played
fell by
Subnautica before.
81%
I have to check
in the
it.
second week. Concurrent players on Steam dropped from 212,000 in August to just over 2,000 by September and fewer than 1,000 by October.
And what followed that was perhaps the biggest pylon in gaming history.
And the price on eBay and Amazon and secondhand at GameStop was crashing through the
Yo, what? $1.25?
Please, no more. But the beta
How much is it
had
now
only
on
just
Steam?
begun.
Because I low
The
key want
demo
to check it
plan
out
was
now.
data mined and found to be, of course, totally scripted and not randomly generated at all.
That's like $85, dude.
If anything horrible goes wrong, just keep in mind that I've not been here before.
It wasn't some level that we built or something like that, even though I think it looks
Whoa!
quite nice in places.
People watching this would wonder why you're showing this area again. Like, what's so special about demoing the game on this planet?
Oh no,
85
it's just
Australian
a
dollars.
Place that looks nice.
And it was selling for $1.25 before.
I could have ended
Yikes.
the demo with some,
But then soon after, the ASA cleared them of any legal wrongdoing. Technically, the only thing they're interested in is what's on the back of the box, what's on the store page, and what's on the Steam page. So it's technically not false advertising. But of course, technically
But it
not
was because of
illegal.
all the
It doesn't mean
interviews.
much to an angry audience.
Yeah.
October 28th, Hello Games Twitter is hacked. The hacker posts, "No Man's Sky was a mistake," and is shitting on the game in the replies. Turns out Sean didn't use two-factor authentication on his LinkedIn, and that's how they got in.
Oh,
They also sent
no.
discrediting emails to journalists, which they knew would rile people up if published. Some people even show up to their offices to take
No, don't
photos
do that.
and
It's a
knock on
video
the
game,
door,
guys.
even at night and on the weekend.
Look,
They
most of
posted
you,
empty pictures of
most of you probably already got your refund. Just don't do this. Look, if you buy a product, especially on Steam, right? You can get a refund. It's a shit game. That's it. I don't know how. Just don't do this. This is actually fucked up. Don't do that.
office. So, naturally, out of context, this started rumors that Hello Games simply took the money and
If you buy a
ran.
shit game, get a refund,
This
and
in
don't
addition
support
to
them in
numerous
the
bomb
future.
and death threats during that period.
Don't need to do
Those
this.
ones
This is
Sean
actually
did
fucked
have
up.
to take
Don't do this.
seriously.
You look like a man-child who didn't get his video games.
Murray and the other members of Hello Games were so
I don't know
dumb
why, but I genuinely
and
feel
so
bad
sure
for
they
this
weren't going to
this
win
game company.
that they opted to go
But I
elsewhere.
genuinely despise the 76 team.
And the Innovation Award goes to...
I feel like I can almost relate in a way when it comes to projects like this. Just don't get hyped for games, dude. Simple. Don't invest that hard into a product that you know very little on, and all you've seen is
I'm gonna accept
what
this
they've
on
shown you.
behalf of Hello Games, and congratulations to them. And I'm going to walk off stage like I planned that.
For example, Cyberpunk. I'm
By
sure
this
it's going to be a great
point,
game,
you've got
but
to feel
don't let your
just
hype,
a little bit
you know,
sorry
live up
for
too
them.
high.
And then what followed that was the final straw for many.
Oh no!
No particular incident, but a lack of incidents. Silence.
Oh yeah, he
Over
went
3
radio
months
silent,
of
didn't he?
Not a damn word from No Man's Sky. Where are they? Where is my refund? Where is Murray? Shouted into the void. The game was over, and it was dead.
What do you guys think happened? Same story outside. We're gonna hear from Sean. Sean! That was not planned, I swear to God.
But they had to
People
work
who
that
have
hard.
hard
Like any
work
startup,
to do?
it was a huge financial and professional risk.
Well?
They had no income. They were working in a tiny room above an old tile shop, living off savings. And to keep the project running, Sean even sold his house.
Wow.
So we made a really tough and probably at the time.
Yo, do people know this when they were shooting on him?
It's kind of almost embarrassing for me to talk about. I
Yeah,
sold
it
my
feels
house
bad, man.
And just basically went all in.
He's a man of
and
passion,
funded
I guess.
What we were doing, which is not something I would recommend anyone else do.
But by June 8th, 2010, they had done it. The game was good. And they could breathe a sigh of relief because on the very first day it hit the PlayStation Store, they made their money back. 2 years later, Joe Danger 2 was released.
It was not the commercial success they had hoped for, and they didn't want to just keep pumping out sequels.
That
Call
was
of
a
Duty,
trap
yeah.
that players in the industry had fallen into. In his spare time, Sean started working on a prototype for a procedurally generated game. They took another gamble and scrambled to get a trailer out in time to present at VGX 2013. So the project is official now, and the pressure is on. Around this time, Sean is also looking to start a family. Concurrent to all this development, he would go on to have 3 kids, so the weight of responsibility is really piling on. But their hard work will pay off.
Yikes, dude.
as
Of
they're
all
finally
times
gonna
to start
have
a
chance
family
for some R&R around
in the middle of
Christmas.
a project.
They woke up to find their homes flooded, their cars submerged, and their plans for Christmas Day very much ruined.
Bad news.
Wow.
Rain. Rain and flooding in the south of England, right around the Hello Games office. They are completely inundated and they return from their holidays to find laptops floating around at waist height. But some good news. They hadn't lost any data.
So they pull together.
Good.
Soldier on. Development continues.
Feels like the
So
world is
they
against
are
them.
working in a damp office, and then ding dong. Ooh, who's at the door? It's Danish mathematician Dr. Johan Gerlis. He's seen the game, and he says, "They are using my super formula," in perfect English, and there is a potential for a lawsuit. Sean says they didn't, and he can prove it. So they have a meeting, and the claim is eventually dropped. Lawsuit evaded. So back to work, guys. Ding dong.
What formula?
It's Sky Television. They've seen the game.
Oh, hey, Zedek, what's up?
On our Sky trademark.
They said in perfect text-to-speech.
Sky
they had
trademark?
succeeded in getting Microsoft to change SkyDrive to OneDrive.
Fuck off!
And
How do you
they were
own
about to give
Sky?
them
You can't own the
one
Sky.
under threat of lawsuit. But this lawsuit didn't just go away. The threat loomed over them for the next 3 years.
That's so
Right
dumb.
up until the month before release. So they get back to work and ding dong.
It's Sony, with some good news for once.
Oh, the game is a
We
success
like
now?
again,
Yeah,
kid.
the Steam
We
reviews
wanna
looks
feature
pretty
it
good.
front and center and make you a big star. This could mean millions
Right.
of additional revenue. They said.
Pythagoras suing people for
But along with
for
it,
doing
a
math.
lot of press for this game would need to be done. Being a small team, they didn't have anyone for PR. They had their designers, they had their developers, and that was about it. So it's up to Murray.
Sean's in his early 30s now. Not super young, but relatively young, and
That's so
inexperienced
dumb,
for
right,
this
dude?
type of media circuit.
This deal with Sony put extra pressure on them. It set deadlines. It's not that it's Sony's fault, but they're locked in now with much less flexibility.
Yeah,
So
see,
when
that's
they
what I was
roll
saying
around,
earlier, the deadlines.
And they have no option but to delay.
The deadlines were
Even
the
if they
thing that really
wanted
killed it.
to ask for an extra 6 to 12 months of development, which they really need, it's probably too much to ask for.
That depends
So
if
they
you
extend
filed
from late
copyright or
June
not.
To August. Only 6 weeks. From here, you can predict what's going to happen to multiplayer and a bunch of other promised features. So, he's kind of stuck up there. In some ways, during the interview, he tries to temper expectations, but it's limited.
Can you build a space station?
No.
True lies.
But let's not gloss over the interviews. Sean is a technical guy. He's a developer. He's also the introverted type. And the big lights and stuff on camera does not come naturally to him.
Is it super nerve-wracking to talk on stage at E3?
Yes. Yes, definitely. I personally find going on stage at E3 like the hardest thing I've ever done. That's something
So he's not
that
he's not a very
I
like
would have had in a nightmare before. You know what I mean?
a presentations kind of guy. So his mannerisms may come
Still,
off as rude.
He stepped up and took interviews for his game from 2013 to 2016.
And the main thing people wanted to hear about were the features.
Can you have more than...
So every planet, will there be wormholes?
Right.
At what point do you get points or anything?
From these interviews, people took Sean to be a liar, a Peter Molyneux or a chess club member out to sell his game at whatever reputational cost. But I think
God,
the
Howard.
truth is more complicated than that. Sean and the team are indie developers working on a new IP. Their project and plans are constantly in flux. They have no idea how large chunks of the game are going to look, especially not a couple of years out from release. And crucially, Sean doesn't understand that something mentioned in 2013, even said in passing, is going to be seen as a promise in the year 2016, even if by then you've decided
That's
to cut it from
actually
the game.
why you hire PR
For
people.
example,
That's a really good
orbiting
example.
around the sun.
Day has turned it out because the planet has actually rotated on its axis.
This is how journalism is done.
Of
Can you
course.
customize the look of your character?
Journalism.
Sort of.
Full customization confirmed in No Man's Sky.
Yep. There was a meme that I saw. It was like, scientist makes a statement. Scientific discoveries without context is meaningless. Journalists will then headline that. Scientists state that scientific breakthroughs are meaningless. Taking out the context part. Because that's how journalism works, dude. Sensationalized. That feels bad, man.
Straight to the front page.
It's kind of like when with Sean, he's just talking about the game and maybe some spitballing ideas, but the journalists will take those as like promised features.
They are close to the deadline.
Because he doesn't have a mind of like a presentator, a PR kind of person. He's just a developer. So he's just offshoot mentioning things. As it feels bad, man.
They know they're not going to be putting out a finished game. They're worried.
Yep.
There's nothing more they can do. And the fear that they will disappoint the audience is growing on Sean and the team.
I worry about, like, disappointing people.
Upon release,
he looks like a guy who actually cares about the project. That's why it feels bad.
And what doesn't help is his body language.
Cut him just a little bit of slack, because this is simply how he talks. Here are some innocuous questions,
leaning
and he answers
down,
them
kinda,
honestly.
Lead producers on No Man's Sky?
Yeah, I guess I'm a developer on it. I suppose the creator or something like that.
They were left with two choices. Take the money, start a new project, and be a pariah. A cautionary tale of the industry and hated by the gaming community.
So basically do
forever.
what EA and
or
EA
pick
does.
themselves up, get back to work, and with potentially no profit motive, finish the game.
It allowed me to do something that I've always done in difficult times, whether it was crappy...
I mean, the game is still selling now, so obviously he actually finished the game. It shows that he actually cares about the damn product, and not just shooting out a game as a cash grab like, say, EA does.
What I enjoy.
They picked number 2.
Kudos to the team, man. Much respect.
So, here's the plan. The team is assigned to fixing bugs and the most obvious problems. Go. Sean tells the team to stop reading all the overwhelmingly negative feedback on the game, and he reroutes all of it to his personal devices. Emails, forum posts, Google News alerts, player feedback, it's all going directly to him now.
Man.
Then he starts breaking that down into data sets.
Oh.
People who haven't bought the game, people who have bought it and played it for 100 hours, people who have returned it, etc. Then he starts compiling those components.
I was never
into
interested in the
usable
game because I
data,
don't really care about
focusing
space
on
stuff.
the people
So
with the
it
most
didn't really
sincere
bother me at the time.
experience of the game. Then we start making a big laundry list of all the things that need adding. And
Mad
prioritizing.
respect though, because
First thing to fix is that full.
he could just as easily just run away with the
Then
money.
community mod support. Then a third thing, etc., etc. This is
But
going
he
to
actually
take
went
an
back
enormous amount
and
of work to pull
finished the
off,
game and made
they're
the
not
game an
trying
actual
to
good
make the
game.
same mistake twice. So they would need to sharply adjust their PR strategy.
Don't talk to the
Anything they
press.
said right now, an admission of guilt
I've made a severe
would be met with criticism.
Lapse
Denial.
of judgment.
It's not that bad. Would be met with criticism. Corporate speak. Well, we endeavored to make the best game we could, and we are proud of what we have. Would be met with criticism.
Yep.
Half of the problems have been caused by speaking too much. So they were going to do a complete 180. Instead of adding more fuel to the fire, instead of accidentally promising fixes that might also not be
Alien
delivered,
anime girls,
they
oh
wouldn't
god.
speak to the press again.
Female traits you're talking about, I'd say that's a generalization, but you've used
They were going to speak to the community directly from now on. So they told the audience they were working on it and went completely silent. Dude, are you working on this
People
thing?
probably thought that they abandoned
Just
the game.
ignore
Huh?
them. Just work. 3 weeks. Okay, what the fuck is going on?
WTF, it's locked.
A month. They took the fucking money and ran, didn't they? Didn't say anything. It's not going to help. 2 months. 3 months.
But see, they could have easily done that.
By now, most people were convinced that the game was abandoned. They had made their money. It's all over. Then,
but it shows that he
after
actually
over
cares about the
100
game.
days of absolute silence, a tweet. Foundation. The first big patch. It is me, Sean. No, go away, Sean. I am mad at you. It has been too long. But I bring you gifts. His accent sucks. It brought base building, new game modes, farming, camps, and freighters, as well as a lot of bug fixes. You will have to try harder than that, Sean, to win my love back. It still fell well shy of the promised game. Too little, too late. So Sean left, returned to his team, and got back to work.
We actually watched the Fallout 76 video earlier, dude.
Another tweet. Pathfinder.
Hot garbage.
What the fuck? Oh, it's you, Sean. I bring you online base sharing, own multiple starships, starship specialization, multi-tool specialization.
He's actually fixing and adding content to the game that everyone was shitting on him for, and actually making it the promised product. Mad respect. Review, bro.
Okay, that's pretty good, but I'm still mad, and there's still a ton promised that isn't in the game yet. So Sean went away once more. A few more months went by.
If it was EA, dude,
Knock, knock.
they would have just like made a new title.
I bring you an overhaul to the storyline.
Or just
New
shut down the
worlds,
studio completely and get
crash
everyone fired.
freighters, space combat, terrain editing, portals, procedural mission system, interstellar trading, and joint exploration. By now, people were really starting to warm to No Man's Sky again, and to Hello Games.
The game has in many ways exceeded what was promised.
It's a substantially better game now.
No Man's Sky is back, baby!
People saw this was an honest effort to fix the game, and the number of employees working on it was growing. From a studio of 50
right.
to 25.
100%, dude.
Sean Murray and Hello Games social media also started becoming more active and engaging with the audience. The subreddit was
He's winning them
flourishing
back.
once
That's
more.
actually really
the
awesome.
The price of the game secondhand on Amazon, eBay, and GameStop was going up. Then a few more months went by. Next, a really big patch.
Oh my god. Holy shit!
Ooh.
To be super clear, No Man's Sky is not fuck that. Here's the full and proper multiplayer experience. Ringed planets, third-person mode, character customization, a galactic atlas,
Tony
an
Hawk.
external website for the community, vast overhauls to base building and crafting and resources, and it also brought the game to Xbox. In fact, with
Damn.
the release of Next in July 2018, No Man's Sky
You really
was
went
the
above and
sixth
beyond, huh?
top-selling console game for the month. It climbed its way back into Steam's top 10. It reached nearly 100,000 concurrent players. It brought another
Ooh.
$24 million across all platforms.
That's actually really
The
good, dude.
Steam
That's
rating
boggy.
went from mixed to very positive. People were getting back on board in a big way, but they weren't done yet. Better creatures, weird underwater shit, discoveries in bases and environments and equipment, and it keeps going. New biomes, more diversity, archaeology,
Yeah,
more things
man.
to discover.
Tony Hawk,
By now,
hell yeah.
Sean and the gaming inspector personification of the gaming community had literally patched things up and were making out on the couch. Which was when he released his biggest patch to date of this video. Oh my god, dude! Free VR support. Not a whole lot of game you have to pay for, like some titles.
Right?
Levels,
Come on,
NPCs,
man.
Tech trees, base building, streamlined multiplayer, ride animals around. All sorts of stuff that was never promised in the first place. And they're still adding more stuff.
Someone at Valve, who was a fan of the game, said to me, what you do now is more important than what you say. There's only one thing that's credible, and that's your actions.
Wise
In
words.
fact, I was so slow to get this video out that they put out another patch the other day. With ship salvaging, ship upgrading, more advanced terrain editing, first-person exocrafts, improved VR, improved base
wow, that
building,
actually looks really
inventory
cool, dude.
management, and quality of life stuff. It goes on. Is it perfect? Technically, there are still things on this spreadsheet missing. But come on now, we're starting to nitpick. Especially when you compare them to relationships with other games companies. They could have gone the route of Fallout 76. Paywall
Definitely.
mods with Fallout first, charging a monthly fee, a downward spiral.
When I saw that monthly fee for premium subscriptions for Fallout 76, I was just like beyond speechless. The game is still broken as hell at the time, and they have the audacity to do this. Actually insane. Yeah, for No Man's Sky could have gone that route. It could have just as easily gone that route, but it didn't, which is why it's so respectable.
Spiral more and more into pay-to-win scraps released without QA testing. But instead, they never added pay-to-win. They never added microtransactions or paid DLC.
Bethesda's decisions give me a brain aneurysm trying to process
They didn't give
it.
up on the game or scale their resources back to do it. They didn't come out and call all gamers entitled. They didn't add loot boxes. They didn't start work on the next big project or sequel. They didn't do much of anything except get back to work.
That is 100% respectable,
Just
dude.
like that, the game once panned by critics now had awards rolling in.
Your developed star 2019, No Man's Sky, Sean Murray.
No Man's Sky next.
With a
This is
win.
actually really good. I enjoyed
It's
this.
the underdog
It's a success story. Yeah.
And after doing all of this research, I couldn't help but come to the conclusion that they were the good guys.
I will actually stream this game if it goes on sale.
So what is the future for Hello Games? In 2017,
I want to support
they
actual good
announced
devs
Hello Labs,
and
a
studios.
support program focused on original titles and games using procedural generation.
So
The team
nice.
also branched off to work on a small title called The Last Campfire. But for the foreseeable future, they're just working on No Man's Sky.
That is an example of a good studio that I want to support. That's actually really nice.
Alright, I didn't want to finish the video on like a big sappy note. So, this is the end of the story, but there's still another few minutes. Don't leave. It's not an ad. Okay, in 2015, when the hype was at its peak, someone wrote a Sean Murray erotic fanfiction. And, naturally, I assumed that you lot would want to see it. So, here it is. My evening interview.
Oh
at Hello
god.
Games. I arrived at the Hello Games office in the early evening, as the sun was approaching the horizon.
Oh
Taking a deep
god.
breath, I nervously pressed the doorbell. The door opened, and Sean poked his expressive face out to greet me. "Hey you," he exclaimed in his adorable British-Australian accent. "I'm so happy you could make it and spend the evening with us." "I was so happy when I heard
Hey,
you
it's
were going to
Pyro.
let me come in for an interview," I said. "Oh yeah, the interview. I forgot," he replied with his usual brilliant humor. I laughed. "You're so funny, Sean. Let me show you my office." "I have a surprise for you," Sean said. He led me to the room where we sat down on a soft vinyl couch. "So let me show you the surprise," he said, softly. "It's the newest build of the game. We just added some new features." He booted up the game on a PS4 in his office. I stared at his face. I like your beard. It's sexy," I pretended to say to him in my head to myself. I had a secret crush on him. There was something about his
Oh
humble
god,
demeanor
why?
and feeble yet handsome bone
Why do people do
structure that
this?
was so alluring. "So here's the game," he said eagerly. It opened on an alien world just calling out to be explored. I began to sweat. Here it finally was, in front of me in all of its glory, and it was being played by Sean in front of me in all of his glory. I nervously spoke. "Could I try playing?" I said. "Oh, I suppose, of course," he said, chuckling. But another few minutes passed without him handing me the controls. "Sean," I said more confidently. I put my hands on his hands as
No.
he gripped the controller. He looked me straight in the eyes. I stared deep into his beautiful, glistening eyes, utterly transfixed. "Sure," he said. He let go of the PlayStation controller, still sweaty from his firm grip. But I have another surprise to show you.
No!
He stood up. Mike.
Redacted.
He muttered. Yes, please, I said, blushing as ready blushing
No!
as the treetops of Aurea 5. He grabbed my shoulders, guiding me confidently.
Why is it
towards the
pyro
coffee
as
table,
well?
Like he confidently guides the Hello Games team towards the game's release. The one true Sean Murray, not that baby-faced loser asshole poser from NCIS. Made sweet, sweet love to me. I wasn't sure what I was.
I don't know what I'm feeling, dude.
Finally, Sean Murray, all finally playing.
My respect for the man in this
After
fanfic is
exploring the planet's
conflicting.
surface, I entered my spaceship and took off. Just as I left the atmosphere and burst into the breathtaking expanse of space.
Oh.
It was an out-of-world experience.
Well, I'm glad to wrap up on that note. Ugh. Yikes.